Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Must be 18 or older to bet in store, 19 plus to bet online, and for Ontario residents only. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lindsay Dunn alongside Dan Riccio and Cabbie. Good morning to you guys. Yesterday in the NHL, we had my favorite moment of the season. We will get to that in a moment. We also will talk about huge news in San Francisco ahead of the Toronto Raptors game. But let's start out what happened or maybe did not happen in Toronto last night against the Wild. They dropped the game 6-3, where I will let you know in that third period when Matthews scored a goal, I thought they were going to have the ultimate comeback, but they fell short. Here's what Craigie B and Austin Matthews had to say after the game.
We made too many mistakes. Line change goal, two PK goals against. We just didn't. We just weren't detailed enough in certain areas. Cost us the hockey game. We're chasing it. Made a good push in the third, but too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's no excuse. Obviously, we've got a nice homestand here, so we got to pick ourselves up, learn from this one, and get ready for the next one. It's obviously an important one against a division opponent.
So on a scale of meh to burn the tape, how bad was this loss actually, Dan? Ooh, Mumble number 5 coming up. We have a mic not turned on.
Oh, no, okay. All right. I was just... It was a forget about it kind of night, for the Maple Leafs. You don't want to think too much on this one if you're Austin Matthews and the rest of the group. Like, it's a really, really difficult spot that they were in last night. You go 4 games in 6 nights on a West Coast road swing, playing a lot of games at 10 o'clock Eastern time last week, close it out in Winnipeg, 4 cities in 6 nights. You're back home, usually in a non-Olympic schedule. After that kind of a road trip, you get 2 days off before your first game back at home. And even then, it's difficult. These are always tough games for anybody across the league. But this team can't afford excuses. They can't afford scheduled losses, as they are called around the National Hockey League. And that was a spot for the Leafs last night. That was a scheduled loss. And I get it. It's a difficult spot, but you've put yourself in the standings behind the ball, and you are trying to catch up. You're trying to get back into the playoffs. They were there for a minute. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league. All those things are valid, but the rest of the Atlantic Division is pretty much the hottest team in the league right now as well. So the Leafs haven't gained as much ground as you would have hoped during this hot streak. They just don't have much margin for error. And so the scheduled losses, as people like to call them, sorry, they're falling on deaf ears for me.
Listen, I agree on all points, Dan, and this was an ugly loss. So it took a little bit of mining, like I was a Bitcoin miner, to find some little gems in the 6-3 loss to Minnesota, which also snaps Toronto's 7-game home streak. We like to fly the flag for Nick Robertson. So Nick Robertson, he stepped up while William Nylander is on a we're not sure timetable due to a groin strain. He always plays with a lot of energy and a lot of offensive awareness. There was a moment in the third period. He just goes to the net. Now, in the replays, it wasn't really conclusive that the puck deflected off of his skate, but he took the goal, raised his hands like, we'll give it to him. So I enjoy watching Nick Robertson's energy and what he brings to the squad. A small positive. And the other one, special teams was not great last night. They gave up, as Craig Berube said in that clip off the top of the show, they gave up 2 goals on the power play or on the penalty kill. Minnesota had 3 power play opportunities. John Tavares scored a power play goal late in the first period. He also scored a power play goal against Vegas a couple of days ago. One for 3 on the PP. I mean, it's again, it wasn't pretty. Look, Toronto struggled to find its rhythm, and Minnesota played with great structure. That's what I was really impressed by. And watching Quinn Hughes, like a full game of Quinn Hughes, because my apologies, Dan, I did not watch a lot of Vancouver Canucks games this year or even last year when the team was struggling in the Pacific. I'd watch when Connor McDavid would play, and that I would only be watching Connor McDavid buzz around the ice. But Quinn Hughes is magnificent, and he is a magician. It was kind of like watching Nathan McKinnon in that he's always moving. He's always, I don't know, scheming, like not scheming. That's not the right word, but always processing. Like it is a joy to watch him play hockey. But also just please, like you have this sick pass to Tarasenko, which leads to a partial break. He scores forward. Can we get at least a nod or some kind of visual reaction to a sick goal, bro? Like give us something. The guy's like Antoine Chigurh in the movie No Country for Old Men, who plays the villain. He's just stone-faced. And hey, man, if that's what you need to continue to be elite, then do that. But I mean, it's you set up a sick goal. Like give us some.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on that loss to Minnesota.
As is known in Canuck circles, Quinn Hughes has resting sad face. So it's
bro, that is so accurate.
Wow.
Yeah, Minnesota Wild fans have had to get used to it. But yeah, that's just Quinn. I'm sorry, he's resting sad face guy. So
and we've had, and we'll get to this later. We have Captain Series. Jonathan Toews was Captain Series for like his entire tenure with Chicago. And now we have, what was it? Resting sad face with a former captain in Vancouver, but is now in Minnesota, and Quinn Hughes. Man, that's amazing. That's a very
Quinn
good.
might hate me for saying that, but it's facts only. I mean, just look at him on the ice. He's always resting sad face. So.
You know what? That's true. And in post game, we were going to go to this a little bit later, but let's play some of the clips from Quinn actually before the game and just take a look at his resting sad face while he talks.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a better team. I mean, you know that. And, obviously watching Vancouver, I love a lot of those guys, and it's competitive guys over there and want to do well. And it's just, it's tough sometimes, and it's not where I'm sure they want to be and where I wanted it to be when I was there. But I mean, obviously this is the third best team in the league right now, so.
Ooh.
He's speaking facts too, bro. Like that Central Division is insane.
He was asked after the morning skate, I think by Elliot Friedman, some of the differences of playing with Minnesota versus Vancouver, and his response is just like, well, this is just a better team. And I mean, facts only. Like, what is he supposed to say? The Canucks have just lost 11 in a row, and they're completely falling apart without Quinn Hughes on that roster. And he just kind of spoke the truth. He feels for the guys, the teammates that he left back there in Vancouver. But right now he's on one of the best teams in the league. He's happy to be competing for a Stanley Cup. I mean, this is a fact. And I'm looking through some of the replies on Twitter, and man, there's some Canucks fans that are like jilted lovers. They love this guy. They cheered him for days on end, and now they're just like, man, you were a bad captain. We're happy you're gone. Like, man, you're gonna miss this guy forever. He was the best defenseman in franchise. Maybe he's as good a player as they've had ever in franchise history. Sedin's, Pavel Bure, all those guys. Quinn Hughes is on that list, and they're very much in heartbreak mode right now. So Canucks fans, give your ex-captain some love. He's it wasn't his fault he had to leave Vancouver.
Dan, do you have any intel on like how many breakups this dude has like gone through? Like, or is it just like one long, lengthy breakup where like you get back together, you're casual, whatever, you're in a situationship. And then, then she hooks up with, a trainer at Good Life Fitness or some Pilates instructor, and just the wound reopens. Like, do we have any, like, my dude is, what are we doing about it?
Quinn is, he's a very private guy, but I do not know of how many breakups there were, but Quinn, the breakup with the Canucks was sort of prolonged once we figured out that he was not long for Vancouver. Maybe that was the Canucks' biggest problem. They never found him a good Vancouver girl, or he never found a good Vancouver girl to keep him in town.
So many over there, too.
Who knew we'd be talking about Quinn Hughes' love life on a Tuesday morning in Toronto? The things
you never know what you're going to get on OTR.
Yes, OTR is where it should be. Thank you for everyone joining us right now. If you haven't already, head over to YouTube under the Nation Network, like and subscribe, join the chat and party that is happening there. We're talking about Oreo muffins a little bit. I had no idea that was a thing. Might be a life-changing experience for me after the show. But when we talk about the Twitter reactions to his comment, social media And Twitter had a little bit of a moment in Leafs Nation yesterday, which we can say every day, when they found out that William Nylander was dealing with a groin issue and that they were not sure when he is going to come back and play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Craigie B saying, when he feels good, he will be back on the ice. But on social media, Leafs fans saying that he shouldn't be able to play in the Olympics, that they should have him sit out, and also sit him out until after the Olympics so he's fully healthy so they can make a nice playoff run. So, ding, 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 we're going to do a reality check of how unrealistic this actually is, Dan. He's not going to miss the Olympics.
No, I mean, as long as he's healthy enough to go to Milano, he's going to be hanging out with Cabbie and maybe having some vino and pasta. Although Cabbie will be in the Alps rather than at the rink. It's like, I get it from a fan's perspective. And you look at it, and this guy just came off a groin injury. He aggravated after scoring that goal in Vegas. Unfortunately, what seems like during the celebration of that goal against the Golden Knights is where he hurt it as he stumbled on the ice. And he's back out with the aggravation of the same injury. So you're left to look at it and say, well, this could be something that reoccurs when he goes to Milano if he's not ruled out of the Olympics. I mean, I get it all. I understand it, but it doesn't live in reality. You don't live in any sort of reality if you think the Leafs have the kind of leverage to say or tell William Nylander he can't or shouldn't go to the Olympics. I mean, this guy has worked his whole life to become a professional athlete. And I imagine for William Nylander, it was to follow in his father's footsteps and play and wear the Swedish colors at an Olympic Games. Michael Nylander played in 2 Olympics. This will be William Nylander's first, should he go to Milano. If he can't play, if he can't get on the ice, if he can't skate well enough to perform at that sort of level, then I get it. But the Leafs don't have any sort of leg to stand on to tell this guy, hey, we need you to rest up for the stretch, the final stretch of the season, the final 6 weeks. We'd prefer you to stay back in Toronto and get healthy. I mean, that just it doesn't live in reality. You'd be ruining a relationship with one of your top players, with one of your star players. And think about it on a human perspective. This guy has worked his entire life to get to this point. He is probably right now, if not the best player for Sweden, one of the best players for Sweden. He's worked his entire life to achieve this goal. He is on that roster. You better be damn sure he's doing everything he can to play in these Olympics coming up in Milano.
And that's one thing that fans rarely consider is the human being and like that human's story, what it would mean to for William Nylander to wear his country's sweater. Like, it's just an incredible honor. What I could see happening is he doesn't play until the Olympics. Actually, we see him play in Italy is the next time we see William Nylander play. Rest up, get treatment every day, whatever that process is, and then kind of ramp up through the Olympics. And then we'll see you on the other side, late February for that. I suppose at that point it would be a 7-week sprint to the playoffs.
Next game for the Buds is against Detroit, and that is on
It's on the must-win meter. I don't know, like it's not like a 10 on the must-win meter, but it's pretty high on the must-win meter.
I agree. We'll discuss it in a moment. We also will talk about a moment that happened in Chicago, and we're going to talk about a little bit of Blue Jays action. But before we get to that, I want to show for people who did not watch anything else around the NHL last night, my favorite moment of the season, something that has not happened in the NHL in 6 years. We had a goalie fight! Oh, and
yes, let's go. Goalie Bob.
I didn't even show that he was tall
Alex Nedeljkovic just got jumped, basically, and he's like, this is pure fight or flight response right here. Nedeljkovic is elite.
To it too.
He's fought at least in the ECHL, but this is Bobrovsky's first ever goalie fight right here.
Yeah.
And
you just
the crowd
see him,
went
he was
wild.
just tunneling down the ice to go get him. And like, you see his teammates are so excited. And both benches were just pumped up about this moment. And I'm just like, let's go. We have a goalie fight. But when I saw him tearing it down the ice, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. It is on, mofos. Let's go. It's just so rare that we see it. And it's just, honestly, for me, it lived up to the moment and anticipation of 6 years of wanting another goalie fight. And then the team's reaction. Let's go. I am pumped.
He waited his whole life for that moment. And that's you can see how amped he was sprinting down there, just like, oh, okay, here we go. Like it's ding, ding, ding. Let's get ready to rumble. That's all that play needed was let's get ready to rumble.
He's like, I got my 2 cups. I got however many Vezinas I've won at this point as Sergei Bobrovsky has. And you know what? I need goalie fight on my resume. This is my chance. I'm getting down there. Alex Nedeljkovic, we're dropping it right now.
Well, we may see a fight between Mets fans and Blue Jays fans when it comes over who loves Bo Bichette more. And of course, we have to talk about this. This is one of the hottest topics, not only in Toronto, but also in Mets land. We're joined now by Jack, aka Jelly Olive, who is the co-host of the Mets podcast, Shea Station. And do we have questions for you? Just first of all, good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We got
yes,
you, bro.
we
Yeah,
can.
we got you.
We can hear.
I cannot hear you. Okay, so that is an issue.
Oh, that's a problem.
Oh,
Give me
Okay,
1 minute.
That's a new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
no problem, brother. No problem.
Well, he does
That's
the
a new
1
one.
minute. You know what? He'll check that. We'll see how that goes. So I want to go into terms of goalie fights. Where does this stand in goalie fights? Because like for me, it was really also the lead up of him just going down and knock him down was just everything. Dan, where are you at?
That was the fun part of it. And we don't get goalie fights very often. I mean, we not like we used to get them on a daily basis back in the day, but they did feel more frequent. But it felt like, even after he got down there, it was a very 2026 goalie fight. Whereas, 9-year-old Dan, when I think of a goalie fight, I think of, Ron Hextall coming down the ice, taking his blocker off, getting ready to go after Felix Potvin. And I'm like, man, Potvin's about to get filled. And then surely enough, soft-spoken French-Canadian Michelin man, as they used to call him back in the day because he faced so much rubber, Felix Potvin just absolutely cleaned Ron Hextall's clock. And we were all like, what the hell? Joe Bowen had an incredible call of that. And to me, okay, maybe it's Leaf fan bias from a child watching the Leafs, but that was the greatest goalie fight of all time, and nobody can ever tell me otherwise.
I think we'd like to submit
Yes.
Patrick Waugh versus Mike Vernon or Patrick Waugh versus Chris Osgood into the conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
In the people versus goalie fights.
This is just because of the whole like Red Wings Colorado rivalry. I guess.
Bro.
Yeah. It was like, one of the Mount Rushmore goalies of all time too, in Patrick Waugh.
That's the context that I think Lindsay and I.
Yes. Thank you so much for helping our fight.
Yeah, for this argument. I mean, those were that Red Wings Colorado series was like not a literal bloodbath, although I believe some blood was spilled, but it was just like it was spilled, yes. It was an incredible rivalry in the late 90s and early 2000s, and I think Waugh versus Vernon might have been the more vicious of the fights, but that's I think that would be my my pick for top goalie fight of all time. Now I don't remember anything from the 70s or the 80s, so I'm just cherry picking from the late 90s. Yeah. So I'm sure there were some bangers back then too.
I absolutely agree with Cabbie on this, and it's like anything with Watt just instantly reminds me of my childhood where I was terrified of him in 1998 after that Osgood fight, and to this day when I've been in a room with him, like I actually am terrified of this man because of those fights, but they were worth every moment. And it's just I love it. I love the energy that it brings. I love seeing the team reactions, and like I mentioned, we may see a fight between some Jays and Mets fans, most likely Jays and Dodgers fans, because I'm just going to say Jack is back on the call, Dan.
Okay, I just
so
we'll save it for later.
Can you hear us now, my friend?
How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you now. What's happening, Jack?
To you.
Okay. I think I'm on a little bit of a delay, so I apologize if it might be weird communication-wise, but
that's okay. My life is on a permanent delay. Yeah, making fun of how slow I am. But anyways, we're happy to have you here. When it comes to this Mets news, I saw your reaction. Just what is your reaction to how much Bo is getting paid?
he's getting paid a ton of money, and that's not an understatement. I think 42 million AAV is going to be one of the highest AAV values of any player ever. But this was the Mets basically pivoting after Kyle Tucker needing another star bat in that lineup. All I've heard from Blue Jays fans is that they love Bo Bichette. That makes me really happy because whenever a fan favorite player of mine goes somewhere else, I say the same thing. So if nothing else, Bo's a really fun player to watch because he swings at everything and he hits a lot. It's just shocking because we were never really on the radar for Bo, and here we are landing him.
I know it's not going to happen, but just this Bellinger news that's happening, how sweet would it be somehow if he ended up on the Mets? I know this is not going to happen. It's just I like anything to not happen for the Yankees.
I mean, the thing I keep saying to all the Yankee fans in the office is like, they can't mess this up. I mean, he's such a Yankee. It's clear that he wants to come back. They know what he wants. They haven't done anything this offseason. So even just getting him back means they're back to square one for the team that lost in the ALDS last year. If they don't re-sign Cody Bellinger today, it looks like, because it looks like we have a decision loading, it's a catastrophe for the Yankees. It really is.
We love catastrophes for the Yankees here on this show. That's a definite one. So Bo Bichette, the biggest question mark that we always had in Toronto was around him defensively, and I guess in New York with the Mets, he's probably going to play third base. How are the vibes around that? How that's going to look?
It's really interesting. Right now, the Mets feel like they're a team of 6 different second basemen all trying to find spots. I really do think there's a world where we end up with Bo Bichette as the primary DH. And it might sound kind of funky because, well, then why did you just bring back Pete Alonso? But at the end of the day, if Bo is hitting, I want him in the lineup every day, and I don't really want to sacrifice defensive value to do that. The Mets have guys they like Brett Baty. Obviously, Marcus Semion's probably going to play the majority of second base. Lindor's your shortstop. So for Bo, if the experiment doesn't really work out after the first month, the Mets might just pivot and say, all right, let's just get that bat in the lineup. We have this DH spot. We'll figure out the rest from here.
Yeah, I guess the other thing for the Mets, too, is, Bo Bichette doesn't strike out all that much, right? And we saw it with the Blue Jays, and I imagine there's going to be a little bit of copycat going around Major League Baseball after the run the Jays just had to the World Series where, we don't want guys that strike out as much. Like, get rid of the 3 true outcome players. Let's get more guys who put the ball in play. And Bo Bichette, I'm sure, does that for the Mets. Well, he does do that for the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of almost too passive last year. They had a lot of players in their lineup that filled the same profile of they're looking for the home run, they're taking their walks, and sometimes you'd be watching a Mets game and you'd watch 5 hitters in a row take a fastball right down the middle for the sake of just being disciplined. Bo Bichette's not that guy. Bo Bichette's swinging all over the place, and he's making contact a ton of the time. So if nothing else, even if Bo doesn't have, some career year or whatever, he brings such a different dimension of offensive profile to the lineup that the Mets desperately need.
Good morning to you, sir. Juan Soto's reputation is like the most patient hitter in baseball, and Bo Bichette can spray hits all over the field. Do you think that pitchers will now, depending on where Bo hits, I believe he'll hit after Juan Soto, but do you believe that we'll see pitchers challenging Juan Soto more often because Bo is such a great contact hitter? And what will that do for your squad?
That's a really good question. I agree with you. I think Bo is probably going to hit third. I think you'll probably see Lindor, Soto, and then Bichette for at least the early part of the season. I do agree that pitchers might want to chill more because if you're running into a situation where you're walking Juan Soto twice a game or whatever the number is, Bo Bichette's, he's a gap-to-gap hitter. He's going to get a lot of extra base hits. That's how he gets his slug year in and year out. And you also run into the problem of, contact is chaos. And if you have base runners on, it doubles the chaos. So Juan Soto, there's nothing better that he does than getting on base. Having that right in front of Bo Bichette is going to be a lethal combination. I like Bo as a top-of-the-lineup hitter as well, as a table setter, but I really want to see him get to 100 RBIs this year, and I really think he can.
Jack, are the Dodgers ruining baseball?
I mean, yes and no, because I think that the short-term high-value thing that has been, kind of the theme of the recent offseason with Bo and Kyle Tucker should work in favor of these lower market teams. These lower market teams don't have to commit to these 8 to 10 year deals with, $300 million of payroll and be basically anchored by that for years and years and years, like say the Milwaukee Brewers with Christian Yelich. At the same time, players are going to opt to choose the team that just won 2 World Series in a row, especially if that team is offering them $60 million in AAV. So I do think it's a little bit of a combination of 2 things. It's the Dodgers' recent success, making them the most desirable destination with the most money on top of that. At the same time, you're not seeing any other teams really come close to the Dodgers, Mets, or Blue Jays when it comes to these very short-term, very lucrative offers that I think works actually in favor of smaller market teams, because if they have, $50 million of payroll, they can just commit that to one star and completely change the outlook of their season.
I don't know if this, you're probably unfamiliar with my work and Lindsay's, but we worked for traditional media, but our approaches were untraditional as far as how we engage players and what the personalities that we want to draw out of players. Now, in your career, I don't know if you experienced this, but was there a lot of gatekeeping by baseball when it came to like accessing players and covering the game the way that you do and the way that your colleagues do with Jomboy?
It's interesting because we cover the game, but we also don't want to antagonize anybody, and we don't want to throw guys under the bus or speak on character or anything like that, because you do meet these guys face to face at spring training, at winter meetings, all-star events, and stuff like that. As for other media members, honestly, everyone's been extremely friendly because I think they're just kind of fascinated by this new burgeoning world of sports media that we all live in. And it's funny seeing the kind of dichotomy of we'll all be at winter meetings, and then there will be journalists for The Athletic and the New York Post that are there getting quotes, doing jobs, and we're there just kind of covering the event and observing. And that's why I really love my job, because while I get these interviews to ask players, tell me the story of World Series Game 4 when you did this or whatever, other guys are trying to get these hard-hitting quotes and really get news out there. I don't envy them. That's a very difficult job. Journalism is an incredibly difficult field. But I'm fascinated by watching that happen. And it seems as though we've built a sports ecosystem where both people can coexist. So it's been really nice.
Okay, nice.
We'll see how the coexistence goes of Toronto Blue Jays fans, Mets fans, and Bichette. So I'm curious for you. Like we talked about Bo, he was loved by Blue Jays fans. And I'm just curious, what are Mets fans like? I know it was brought up in our chat right now about Jerry Seinfeld being a huge Mets fan. What is the fan base like? Like, how do you think they will react? Do they get angry with a certain, teammate or somebody quickly? What is Bo going to expect? And what do you think he will get?
I will say is that I think you can very clearly tell who has been a longtime Mets fan and who's a new Mets fan. And I'm not, trying to disparage any new fans. That's the goal of the sport. You're trying to bring in new people and fill the stadium. But old Mets fans dealt with a ton of poor baseball. I watched a lot of bad baseball when I first started watching games every day. So this whole flurry of crazy record-setting free agent signings and stuff like that has made me feel very lucky as a fan. And I'm kind of conditioned to disappointment as a Mets fan, so that kind of stuff washes over me. But Bo is entering this weird era where the standards have never been higher, and the Mets are expecting to make the playoffs every year, which you could not say 10 years ago. So I think for Bo, knowing that this is probably going to end up being a one-year deal, because if you're Bo, why wouldn't you opt out after you have a good year? Go out there, play the best ball you can, become the best free agent next season. You'll easily win over the hearts of Mets fans because, like I said, we've watched a ton of disappointing baseball over the years.
So I did want to get one more thought from you, and it's following the Kyle Tucker situation, that final day when everybody was waiting for him to make a decision, and Stephen Cohen, who I've enjoyed some of his tweets in the past, but I gotta say, the papal reference, the Pope election reference, right over my head. I was not expecting that at all. On the scale of crazy owner tweets, was that 1 just a little bit crazy, or 10 wow, that was really freaking crazy?
I mean, the Steve Cohen Twitter debacle is so interesting because you'll have moments like when the Mets lost Steven Matz and he said, I'm feeling very betrayed. I've never seen an agent act so unprofessionally. And then he goes and signs Max Scherzer. That kind of stuff is awesome. The stuff when he's like, guys, I think we got him, and then we don't get him, and then he changes the meaning of the tweet is really frustrating. So I think you just have to take the good with the bad. But at the same time, there's no other owners that are actively on Twitter, kind of chiming in and hinting at things for their fans. In a perfect world, I'd just rather the journalists do their jobs and keep us updated. But at the same time, it's kind of fun being the only fan base where your owner is basically directly tweeting at you on a month-to-month basis.
We appreciate your time, last thing, because I know you have to go, is what do you think of the nickname Happy Grape?
Okay, so I wonder how in the weeds you guys were about the research on me. Happy Grape is funny. I'm a big fan. We have merch of it now. It's pretty bizarre. I will say olives and grapes are not that similar, but if you had to find one that's similar, I guess you'd go with that. So I'm a fan.
In the weeds, I also know you love Carlos Delgado, but we don't have enough time to get into this right now, my friend. We appreciate your time.
Thanks very much,
we know
guys.
You're busy. Thank you. And when you guys aren't playing the Jays, go Mets. Thanks so much for your time.
Please, Jack.
I'll go easy. Promise.
Go check out his podcast, Shea Station. Interesting takes on that, how Bo has helped create a bit of an era for Mets fans. I have no ill will towards the Mets. it's whatever. That's where I'm at with it right now. But Dan, did you want to add your Patrick Waugh thought now, or are we past the goalie fight?
I think we're maybe past it. But I just wanted to say, like, Ron Hextall was Ron Hextall was Mike Tyson. Okay, Ron Hextall was Mike Tyson going down the ice, and Felix Potvin was basically James Buster Douglas. Like, nobody thought Felix would have any kind of a chance. You know, Hextall was the guy who wielded his like sword, which was his stick at the time, and he was like fighting everybody. He was part of the big bad Flyers, right? And then there's Felix Potvin. You know, nobody's expecting him to win that fight, and he's just boom. See you later, Ron. Try again next time.
Boom.
I got to rewatch this fight. I don't remember Ron
Hextall being this
skating down the ice like a bull enraged and seeing blood. But I mean,
the Viz was so funny. He's just like, I reminded myself of it last night. He's just like coming down. He's like ripping his blocker off. He's like getting all ready. Thinks he's gonna. Man, this guy doesn't know what he has in for him. And then, well, he's the one who got surprised.
I am not sure what the Toronto Raptors have in store for them taking on the Warriors tonight. They are without a number of players, including CMB, RJ Yak, and Jacoby. But the Warriors, they are going to be without Jimmy Butler for the rest of the season. He tore his ACL yesterday. I don't know if you want to watch it. If not, we can just have a look at kind of what the text was, what people think was said to him when he went down by one of his teammates. And Dan, I'm actually going to let you take this one.
So it was crazy because, you know, Butler goes up for he goes up for a rebound. He falls awkwardly down on his knee, and Buddy Hield is like, man, what are you doing? Get up, get up. We need you. Not real. Like he thought Jimmy Butler was like faking it, like he was selling to the crowd, like he's Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania or something. And all of a sudden, you know, it's like, oh man, this might be bad. And Jimmy is like, man, shut up. Oh, my knee. So it was a really awkward moment for Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy actually, you know, in classic Jimmy Butler style, he took it pretty well after the game. But yeah, he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, this is I love Jimmy Butler's like his mood, his sense. He's just trying to keep it light, even though he probably knows. He probably heard a pop or a crunch and just knows that his season's done. And for the Golden State Warriors, like no one's going to be able to fill his shoes. And I will say that, or in reading about Golden State as Toronto plays them tonight, they have an impressive bench. Their bench scoring is ranks third in the NBA. So they're going to have to try to get 20-ish more points from their bench on for the rest of the season while Jimmy Butler recovers. And that's not going to be easy. I look at DeAnthony Melton, and who's returning from an ACL injury, as Jimmy Butler's out with an ACL injury. He returned in December, so he's been playing for about a month. But he's slowly ramping up to play 25, 28 minutes a night. So like for Steve Kerr, this is an interesting coaching decision. Do you try to ramp him up quicker because Jimmy's out, or lean on Brandon Podziemski a little bit more as one of your more consistent role players? Toronto suffered, from many injuries, and Lindsay made the point yesterday or the day before that every team is going through stretches where key players are injured. So it's not new. Last year or the year before, weren't there like 8 stars that went down with either Achilles or ACL tears? Mm-hmm. It was brutal. But for Golden State, another big question is, what do they do with Jonathan Kuminga? This guy's name has been rumored to be traded all season. Had a nice start the first 3 weeks, and then seemingly fell out of favor with Steve Kerr. Now Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's the GM of the Golden State Warriors, has to decide, do I get more aggressive calling other teams, or do we just wait and see and have a long conversation with Steve Kerr? It's like, what do you think this guy can provide for the team? Or do we got to ship him out before February 5th? A lot of big questions for Golden State, as they have the same record as Toronto, I think 25-19. But I mean, they aren't quite mash units that the Golden State Warriors and Toronto will be fielding tonight, but those are definitely squads that not at 100% that we'll see be playing in the Chase Center in San Francisco this evening.
Yeah, you mentioned that 100% that they're not at. Just to reiterate how important Jimmy Butler was to that lineup. He was averaging 20 points per game, just about 6 rebounds. He was second in points for Golden State Warriors, first in rebounds for them, second in assists for Golden State Warriors, and first in steals for that roster. That is a significant loss to them. And just a couple stats about both of these teams since Christmas. The Warriors rank 4th offensively. Since Christmas, they've scored 126 points per 100 possessions over their current homestand. They're also a great home team right now. So we'll see how this potentially changes. But for the Raptors, just about RJ Barrett missing this, now his 6th game. Being out the last 5 games, the Raptors, they're now 9-12 without him. Ochai Agbaji has started 10 of those 21 games and is now 12 for 58 from 3 this season, which includes 2 of the team's 7 clutch misses on Friday. So I am just, yeah. Dan?
I think about this, and I think back to earlier in the season when these two teams first met. And like key for the Raptors, there's 2 major keys for the Raptors. One is Scotty Barnes. Okay. He put up the greatest triple-double in Raptors history in the previous meeting between these two teams. What do you go? 23 points, 25 boards, and 10 assists in that game. The guy could barely breathe at the end of overtime in that win back at Scotiabank Arena in December. He just put on a show. And I wonder, how the Warriors are going to try and counteract that. And now that they've seen what Scotty Barnes can do to them and how he can just completely obliterate them in the paint as he did back in Toronto. Can he find that again? And 2, can somebody hit a 3-ball? Like anybody. I don't know. and even if it's like I don't know if the Raptors need some kind of like a seance or like intervention. I don't know what they've got to do, but guys are like passing up 3-pointers these days. And it's just, you know what? Maybe the choice is just chuck up as many threes as you like. I just want to see. It's like, you used to watch those like shows back in the day, and like a teenager gets caught smoking a cigarette, and their punishment is like, you're going to smoke 2 packs. And it's like, well, for the Raptors, if you keep missing threes, just keep throwing them up until they start dropping. Like that's the only way this is going to fix itself right now. I don't like they're the worst 3-point shooting team in the league right now. They need to figure this out. So please just find a way to do it. I don't care how, just keep chucking them up until they start dropping. Eventually they will start dropping.
That's kind of how we play against Boston, because Boston is a volume shooting 3-point team, but we have so little success against Boston. And if Toronto's throwing up like 40 3-pointers at, I don't know, a 12 for 40, 13 for 40 clip, that just gives the other team so many more possessions. It's a tricky spot. I understand your broader point because it's not
about the result tonight, Cab. It's not about the result. This is for the rest of the season. Okay? This is their therapy.
You know what? They're in California, so maybe they can. I don't know if anybody has a direct line to Kyrie, but they either need Kyrie, Shaman. They're California, so they could probably get some Sage and get somebody in there to get rid of the bad juju. Maybe gets, just a quick ayahuasca trip somewhere, but before they get to Sacramento, they need something. You're right. They need something and quickly, because that their struggles from downtown is duly noted. Also, while the Shaman's at it and burning the Sage and getting rid of the bad, get rid of their inability to score against the zone. Get rid of that too.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to even hear that term anymore.
Steve Kerr remembers when Nick Nurse threw out the box and one. So I was like, all right, the North remembers, or I guess the West remembers. So we might even see a box and one for Scotty Barnes at some point during the game.
Hell, bring in David Popkins. I know it's a different sport, but what he was able to do with the Jays, you never know. He could be the magic guy. Bring in the hitting coach. You never know. I just believe that man can solve any problem in life is how I view him right now.
No, the true answer is you got to get the nunnas from Woodbridge or from around Toronto. They've got to do the Malocchio. They've got to get the Malocchio off the Raptors. They got to put the olive oil into the water bowl. do the little do the little saying thing that they do, and they find out who's got the malocchio and they remove it off of them because the injuries and they can't hit 3-pointers. Something's going on. The Raptors got some bad juju and they got to figure it out. The Woodbridge Nonnas can figure it out.
Or that since they were just in LA, like just go to Snoop's house. Just do an afternoon with Snoop after practice. Just get your mind blown, and then maybe that recalibrates all the players, and then they go on a run, or at least gets them to the All-Star weekend. Above 500, 2-3 games above 500.
Talk to Steph Curry. Just go talk to Steph Curry. He's a lovely person. Be like, why are you so good? And even when your eyes are closed, you keep making these threes. Like, how? He is like majestical to watch on the court. I cannot help but just be mesmerized when Steph Curry takes a three. And sometimes it seems it's so effortless, but obviously he has put in the work for many, many years. But through this conversation, it made me wonder, which team needs this win more emotionally?
The Raptors probably need something to go well for themselves tonight. The Warriors, coming off last night, they're probably pretty down with Jimmy Buckets now out for the season. It's going to be a tough spot for them. They're kind of seeing the end of the Steph Curry window. They've been trying to keep it open as much as they can here the last little while. And now, Jimmy Butler's final play as a Warrior might have been an assist to Steph Curry. So it's tough for both teams, but being the Toronto show that we are, I'm going to say that the Raps could use the win emotionally here tonight.
Well, Golden State will likely anticipate some losses, like some immediate losses in the short term, as they figure out, which players can provide a few more minutes, a little more consistency, who comes off the bench earlier, is Mike Dunleavy Jr. going to, pull the trigger on a trade. So they probably anticipate some losing before things get better. So I'd say I agree with you, Dan. Toronto emotionally needs this win more just to get back on track.
Emotionally, I'm wondering how LeBron stans are doing today. They released the NBA All-Star voting and showed that he was not number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I am too far away from that screen to see anything, but all I know is he had at least a million different less votes than number 1 Luka Doncic in the West. Not even in the top 5. I think he was around 8th. And for the first time in since 2005, LeBron not named a starter. Were you guys surprised at all, just from the fan perspective?
The iPhone didn't exist in 2005?
Wait, what?
We're talking 21 years. If you're putting that in context, we were still on the iPod Nano in 2005, I'm pretty sure. So it's just
I think so. I think we were. The iPhone came out in 2007.
Yeah. So we're 21 years. And I don't know, I just kind of want LeBron to be an all-star forever because, what he meant to the game. And I don't know if it's LeBron is LeBron, right? And everybody's kind of, watched him grow up. We had the Miami thing, and then he goes back to Cleveland, delivers a chip there and all these things. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, obviously. But I feel like from the larger basketball fan, there's been LeBron fatigue, even through his prime, a bunch of MVPs or a couple of MVPs that he should have won went elsewhere because, there's LeBron fatigue. It's somebody else needs a share of the award. And I don't know if that ever would have happened during the MJ era as much or what, but I feel like the greater basketball audience has just had LeBron fatigue. And I just appreciate that this guy is still balling like he is at 41 years old.
I also appreciate that too, but I also recognize that the league needs to embrace its new stars, its new face, and Victor Wembanyama will be the face of the NBA. Wemby is from France, and the world team with Shea, Wemby, Jokic, Luka, and who am I missing? Giannis. They should actually wipe the floor with the Americans in the All-Star game if everybody takes it seriously. And listen, geopolitically, it's not the best time to go USA versus the world because, we're seeing some of that in the world in real life.
Yeah.
but sports is a great escape. And basketball is, the number 2 sport in the world. But the world team is legit. And if it becomes like about national pride, then maybe the American players will play harder. And maybe Anthony Edwards is the guy who can take the mantle from LeBron, because LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry are all in their late 30s. Or LeBron is 41, as Dan said, or 42, I think 41.
41.
So it's, the game needs a changing of the guard, and the NBA's in
time to
great
pass the
hands
torch
with Luka and Wemby and Shea, like in phenomenal hands. Those guys are unreal talents, and we're not even ready for the Wemby era. You mentioned fatigue, Dan. People get bored by excellence, which is unfathomable, but it's going to happen, and will happen with Wemby and his excellence.
When I saw the voting results, I know for years when I've been in press conferences with LeBron or around him for like a media scrum, people are always asking like, who do you think will take the torch after you? Which is such a weird question to ask a player, because they don't get to decide who gets to take a torch in a league and will be the top player. But the time already happened. I don't even know if it happened a couple of years ago or years ago, like you mentioned with Wemby, that he is now the face and future of the franchise, that there's not as many people as excited to see LeBron James, especially the younger people who watch NBA, or maybe people of a certain age that only started to watch the NBA within the last couple of years, not knowing the greatness of LeBron James or some of the other players. I was so surprised to see just the differential in the voting, but we will see. Somehow he will make an appearance in the All-Star game, but I do think some voters were still salty over last year, you guys, because when I was in San Francisco for the game, none of us knew he was not playing until he arrived like maybe 2 hours before the game. He shows up, he does a press conference. In the press conference, like a couple hours before the All-Star game, is when we find out he's not going to play. And then some people, including myself, were annoyed. We're like, hey, there are players like Norman Powell who deserve a chance and would have loved this opportunity and just had a little bit more moments of glory. Like, he probably knew multiple days before he was not going to play in the All-Star game. So actually, you know what, now that I think of it out loud, I am pissed off at him still about that. It was just not a cool way to do it. So I think maybe a couple fans, 4 of them, chose not to vote for him because of that, saying, hey, if you're not going to take advantage and love the fact that there's an All-Star game still, we're going to try to give that to somebody else. But that probably was only like 4 votes, and those votes went to Garrett Temple.
Doesn't LeBron remain like the most, I think he's the most polarizing superstar, because there are, I mean, look, he plays in LA, so there are Kobe stans and there are billions of them. Then there are MJ stans and there are billions of them. I know that there are LeBron stans, but LeBron has to convince Kobe stans, which they never will, that LeBron is greater than Kobe. And then when LeBron, there's just so many, he does give us a lot of fodder to chew on, like him showing up reading a book. And then like,
I took my talents to Miami.
Yeah, it shows up with, sometimes he'll just have like a glass of wine, which I think is kind of funny. But then there's like all the acting on the court and the embellishment of the calls, and then whining to the refs, as Luka likes to whine to the refs too. There's just a lot of stuff that LeBron gives us, or gives fans opportunities to hate on him. So him sliding to 8th in the All-Star voting when he didn't play like a third of the early part of the season is not a surprise to me. And it's not a surprise to me that Luka Doncic is the number 1 overall vote getter, because the league is like ready to give him an MVP trophy. It's just that Jokic was one of the greatest offensive players ever and has mastered the game of basketball. And writers can't in good conscience be like, they can't, like, they just can't give that MVP vote to Luka Doncic when Nikola Jokic is like breaking basketball. So, but Luka's super exciting, and the style of basketball he plays translates all over the globe.
Yeah, and it translates to All-Star games because he doesn't play defense. So
perfect for him. Throw up 35 footers, big fella.
It'll be interesting to see who actually gets chosen by the coaches to play. We have Brandon Ingram and Scotty. They both finished within the top 15. BI finishing just ahead of Scotty. So we'll see if they end up being a reserve. I would love to see Scotty in the skills competition again, just one more year to try to redeem himself a little bit. He is so entertaining to watch and be around in that, because the first year it did not go well. Do you guys remember Chris Paul and Wemby, though? They immediately got disqualified for what they did in the skills competition.
No. In like the with like the obstacle course
yeah, they
set up on the court there where you had a bounce pass and then make a hoop bucket. No, I don't remember. Was it bad?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? We'll bring it up when it gets closer to the All-Star game. Because I remember when it happened, everyone thought they were so smart and they thought they were so sneaky because they got a great score, and then they got immediately disqualified. And you remember like seeing Wemby and Chris Paul's face be like, "What?" But we can do that another time. I want to bring up something else that happened in the NBA, by the way. The Raps, they will be taking on the Kings tomorrow after taking on the Warriors tonight. So they will take on former Raptor DeMar DeRozan. The Clippers, they were in action last night taking on the Washington Wizards. And something interesting happened during the broadcast that I don't think they were anticipating. Maybe an ode to Canada? Watch. Let's see.
Wants to get right on the inside.
Yep.
And then,
that's during the broadcast. They just went to.
Why did they just show a Canadian geese? Canadian goose.
You hear them laughing?
And then where did that still come from? It's just somebody just had it loaded on their laptop.
oh man!
And the guy.
First we got the devil tears. Now we've got geese.
No,
They. No idea where the still of the Canada geese came up, but it was just so funny because you could see they can't hold it together because they're like, what just happened? Why did this graphic come up? And now
it's actually more entertaining than watching the Washington Wizards play basketball.
That's fair.
Man, we got the burns and zingers today. I love when those moments happen. Just, it's so unexpected. And when people can have fun with it, you're like, why on earth did that just happen? And that is a question people are having in the NFL. Some of them being like, why on earth did the Bills get rid of their head coach? And then many being like, oh, it was about time for a little bit of change. As of this morning, there are 6 vacancies within the NFL. So I'm curious for all of us, if you could have any of the head coaching jobs around the NFL, what would it be? Dan, let's start with you.
So I felt the sneaky pick would have been the Tennessee Titans, given, you get the 1 overall pick from last year in Ward, and, he didn't have a great year, but he looks promising, right? And now they get another high pick that they can add to that group going into this year. Now Robert Saleh is going to have the reins over there, and he'll have hopefully a better chance than he did with the New York Jets, because when you take over the New York Jets, you have no chance of doing anything, really. But the Baltimore Ravens, that's a different story. Now, long moving on off of John Harbaugh, and Harbaugh, it was funny. I saw like a side-by-side records comparison of John Harbaugh and Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy is like one of the most, I would say, hated coaches in the NFL. Like, Cowboys fans don't like him. Even Packers fans got tired of him through all their great years. But John Harbaugh's record with Baltimore was basically identical. And ultimately, the issue here is, like, you've had Lamar Jackson for how long? And I feel like you should have done more. I feel like you should have been able to get this team further ahead. And I hope that the Ravens are able to unlock. And I know Lamar has had MVPs, but I think there is another level that this offense can unlock with the talents of Lamar Jackson if they have a difference in philosophy at head coach. And I'm excited to see where that could go. But taking on Lamar Jackson's talents, that would be the best spot to land for any available head coaches remaining.
Yeah, I agree with you, my man. And I suppose if not Baltimore, then Buffalo, because you have another generational, another top 5 quarterback. And if you're the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, you're an immediate Super Bowl contender right from day one. Josh Allen, the 2024 NFL regular season MVP, turns 30 in like 3 months. So he's still in his prime. And along with Josh Allen, you have an elite running back in James Cook. You have some pretty good pieces on offense in Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir. Pretty good. But you're a contender right away. And there's been some stability. You mentioned Baltimore stability with John Harbaugh being in place for 18 or 19 years, something like that. Buffalo also has that pretty balanced structure, and Terry Pagula just promoted Brandon Beane to become the president of operations for the Buffalo Bills. You have a pretty good defense as well. I would say just the promise of trying to put Josh Allen and using his talents in the best, most offensively productive ways would be a great challenge. And you have a pretty good defense on the other side of the ball too. So the Buffalo job is a pretty good one. Now, Lindsay, we took probably two of the best six. So I don't know where else would you go if you are a candidate for a head coaching job in the NFL?
Well, I am a candidate. Don't know if you know that already, guys.
Yeah. It's on your LinkedIn. It's like
fired up
coaching candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been locked out of my LinkedIn for months, but if I had that, I would absolutely put ready to be an NFL coach. Let's go. I hear what you guys are saying about Buffalo, and I hear what you're saying about the Ravens. But when I look at a franchise and how I can mold it to do anything I want, and have a franchise quarterback and a lot of prospects and be a contender for a Super Bowl already, I am not interested in that. I want to have longevity of my own job. So I'm picking the Steelers, guys, because I know Tomlin, he won. But if I go with Pittsburgh, I know I'm going to have a job for probably at least a decade. And hey, who doesn't want a little career security in this day and age of what's going on in the world? So I cannot wait to be named the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys will be my guys on the bench. We will make sure that they have cayenne pepper in their socks when they play in cold places. We will have hot cocoa on the sidelines and maybe a little bit of tequila to give them some little bit more pep in their step when they're absolutely sucking ass when they're on the field. I am ready for my team. Give me that captain's hat. Let's go.
Now, will you be wearing aviators or like Mike Tomlin often did, or will you have like a different pair of glasses, or you just no glasses, no sunglasses, nothing?
I like where this conversation is going. In this moment, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually change my appearance totally. And by that, I mean, I'm going to get the same haircut as the Vegas Raiders owner. If you know what I'm talking about.
Mark Davis? You're going to have like the bowl cut?
Which
when he gets at super cuts for $7. Like he's a billionaire, but like, I mean, that bowl cut is, he doesn't pay a lot. He doesn't spend a lot of money. Yeah. He's a billionaire, but doesn't spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Internet, make this happen. Make me the head coach of the Steelers so I can get the same haircut as Davis.
All you have to do is ask Gronk, Lindsay. Well, actually, one of us can do it. And just like make her change her into the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also give her Mark Davis's haircut. And
who was at the game last night or yesterday afternoon between Miami and Indiana on the sidelines, and I saw his hair. I'm like, you have so much money to make such a unique hair choice. I'm trying not to be judgmental, but I'm pretty sure you are past the stage of needing to put a bowl around it and going snip, snip, snip. But that's going to be my future haircut.
This is not the brand you want to build, Mark, but it's the brand you chose.
Can't wait to see
maybe that and some aviators. Yeah, let's go. What I am excited to see is your pro line pick of the day, guys. Because when watching your favorite sport, make things interesting with ProLine. Must be 18 plus to bet in store and 19 plus to bet online with ProLine Plus. Must be in the province of Ontario at the time of play. Please play responsibly. Dan, you're up.
Well, we're looking at the Montreal Canadiens and Minnesota Wild tonight. Minnesota obviously on the second half of a back-to-back after beating the Leafs in Toronto last night. Montreal's been waiting, and Cole Caulfield, friend of the show, he is on a mission right now to prove to Bill Guerin that he made a mistake, that he was not selected for Team USA. Scored a brilliant overtime goal on Saturday, and I've got Cole Caulfield getting on the score sheet here tonight for the Montreal Canadiens against the Minnesota Wild.
Let's go. Cole Caulfield. These picks are for entertainment purposes only, people. Nikita Kucherov. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won 12 of 13 games. An absolute wagon, just barreling through the National Hockey League. Kucherov himself has scored 6 goals in his last 8 games. Therefore, my pick today is Kucherov versus Kucherov to score an anytime goal against the San Jose Sharks.
And for entertainment purposes only, Justin in the chat wanted to, Little Willie Styles wanted to know, Dan, are you wearing overalls?
I am not. This is just the design on my shirt. So it's not overall. It's just part of the shirt. I know it kind of looks like it now. I might be going bowling later. This is my bowling shirt. Some people have called it a Tony Soprano shirt. But
where's the closest Dave and Buster's to you? Is there one in your area?
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes away, 15, 20. You know, we can get there pretty quick, you know. Get some arcades, get some bowling going.
And set some records on those machines.
Do it for us. That's the perfect segue.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yes. You have no idea how much you just made my husband's day by saying that. He will say that all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about? He says it probably 3 times a day. Who do you think you are? I am. I'm like, you need to find a new. I'm so glad he's not on the YouTube chat right now because he'd be flooding it right now. But you brought up Dave and Buster's. Thank you for this perfect segue without even knowing it, Cabbie. But Vinny, he is a first baseman for the Kansas City Royals, which if I don't say Kansas City Royals in its entirety, I know I will get hate mail from Whit Merrifield. It has been a directive from him. He took his dad to Dave and Buster's, where I don't know if you know that this ride exists. You are a human claw. This is his dad. He put his dad in a human claw machine. Vinny.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow, is this Vinny Pasquantino? I love it.
Pasquantino. Yes. Yeah, this is phenomenal. I mean, who knew?
Sorry,
what do they call? What do they call Sam Darnold? What is Marshawn Lynch called saying Ginger Jesus? Yeah, Pasquantino is like he's one of the apostles then, because that dude's ginger fro is immaculate. And
I've
never seen him without
Ginger
a baseball
Jesus,
cap.
given his Italian heritage. How do you lose at this game? I don't understand. Banana. How do you not?
He made his dad do this.
They're just shoving him all the way down to the bottom. He's gonna get stuck down.
He's like
there.
lower.
Yeah.
This game costs $80 to play.
So not only are we going to take a flight somewhere together so we can stress Dan out, but we need to play this. Just his dad coming out with a giant grape and a banana brought me way too much. We need this to happen when Dan takes his bowling shirt over to Dave and Buster's. Go take that for a rip. Bring me and Dan, or me and Cabbie, maybe like a giant grape or banana.
Yes, and we will play that after a few adult beverages, and we're going to forbid, because we're going to feel in a certain way after a few adult beverages, we have to make a promise that if anybody jumps on the mechanical bull, if there's a mechanical bull at the Dave and Buster's, then it needs to be documented so that we can embarrass that person from that moment to the rest of time and have that video live on the internet. Have to make a pact.
Done. I love this. It's going to be me because if I have more than one adult beverage, I can't handle it. I have zero tolerance, which is why my friends always try to have me to have 2 beverages. Yeah, we need to have this happen.
Lindsay's the lightweight is what we know, Dan. This is what we learned today on a random Tuesday. Lindsay is the lightweight.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No surprise.
I think no, it's not the biggest surprise. I'm going to be honest. But I don't know if we like. There's probably no trips to the Rock and Horse Saloon in our future as a team. So,
are you kidding me? Speak for yourself. Let's go. You can get on a mechanical
St. Patty's Day.
Pull your groin like Brad Jacobs. Come on. Wait, that's where you go on St. Patty's Day? Is the Rock and Horse Saloon?
I just brought that up. Like just as a place I know would be jam packed and maybe an opportunity. For the crew to go. I know I don't know if I've ever been there. I think it was there when it was called something else. The rooftop patio is pretty dope in the summer, but I can't remember what it was called. It was called something else. But anyway, St. Patrick's Day, you might see one of us there, maybe.
All of us. I'm Irish. Let's do this.
Okay.
It's an absolute mess. What I learned about the last couple of episodes is we've been talking a lot about groins. So my advice to everyone today is protect your groins. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We will see you tomorrow on Off the Roster. Protect them groins.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.